Good evening, my little chickadees. Welcome once more to Battle Mallet, where I, Adam, and a guest host will talk about a certain topic, a area of the fandom, something that our beady little eyes have scrutinized to within an inch of our lives. That almost rhymed, so it must be true. I'm not alone this evening. Beside me is my stalwart ally in the Fluffenhammer, the man who's been there since the beginning. It's George.
Hey.
Happy 7 years of Fluffenhammer.
I know, right? Oh my god, I was actually looking back at when we started this. You know, at the end of 7th, when the Gene Stealer cults came out, and the Thousand Sons got their update. Magnus became the first Primarch. Wow. Wow.
I apologise for that. A little boy just ran into the room with no trousers, waved his bottom at me and ran back out.
Okay, as you do.
That's a first for me. I'm not even going to cut that out. I'm going to leave that in. 7 years ago, it was, I think our first episode was before the Magnus picture got released.
Yes,
We've already got...
I mean, that was so exciting back then, because you have to bear in mind the notion of Primarchs in 40k was absurd at that point.
Yeah. You couldn't believe it was real, could you?
No, and people didn't. Obviously, everyone was going, "Oh, it's not real. It's a digibash. Oh, it's not real. It's fake. It's not. It's not going to happen." And then they did that great video, of course, where they were sorting through the bins, and somebody just picked it up out of the bin, and it was there.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the video that they did with Duncan, where they had him signing the NDA? Went, right, so you're not going to talk about this with anyone on the internet, are you? No. What's the internet?
Yeah.
It was beautifully done.
It's hard to believe now, isn't it? Because of course, I mean, like the Gene Stealer cults have had how many different iterations since then? They had they came out in 7th, then they were out in 8th and 9th, and they've obviously got their index in 10th, so they are, And the Thousand Sons too. The Thousand Sons, of course, they didn't have an established codex in 7th, but they did in 8th and in 9th, and they will in 10th.
Yeah.
Hard to believe, right?
It'd be interesting to go back then and seeing what's been released and what's happened and how close we were with a lot of the stuff we were talking about at the very beginning.
I'll tell you one thing we weren't close about. That's Fulgrim and the Emperor's Children. That's one thing we've never been close on.
No. It's now become a legitimate running joke that.
But actually, it's almost. I mean, like with the latest scandal and whatnot, it's become like a meta joke.
Yeah, no, it really has.
It's like reality is kind of like, is playing a joke on us.
Nice. Someone in Games Workshop has a sick sense of humour.
They clearly do.
And it's the same person that keeps releasing stuff after I've finished making armies of them.
I noticed that the Fulgrim release was quite quiet. Wasn't it?
It
was quieter than you would have expected it to be.
When I saw that the release actually happened and everything, I was surprised because it was, okay. But it is just a quick little announcement saying he's out.
Yep. No fanfare whatsoever.
Cheers.
Sort of like.
Yeah, they misjudged that one. And
I do feel sorry because it's great. I mean, the miniatures.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's astoundingly good. It's everything you'd want. But it's not right. It's not what you. No.
It's
not right. Right.
How do you feel about the fact that Games Workshop heard you say that Fulgrim will be the misstep of the year at the Fluffies, and they proceeded to boot that idea right out the window?
Yeah, I mean the website thing is a bit of a debacle, isn't it?
Oh, it's bad.
It ain't gone down that well.
No, I understand what they were trying to do. I can see what they were trying to achieve, but
it's kind of unfinished, isn't it? It's not. It's just not functional yet. It doesn't. It's not as user friendly yet. And don't get me wrong, they've needed to update their website for a long time. And the Black Library, oh my god! I mean, just don't even get me started. Quite frankly,
I agree that getting the Black Library and Forge World stuff in with the main Games Workshop website is a very good idea.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea because, like, Yeah, I mean, the Black Library didn't even have access to PayPal. I mean, come on.
No.
Come on.
Silly. Very silly.
Yeah.
Very, very silly. Yeah, 7 years, man.
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it? In 3 years' time, we'll have been doing this a decade.
A decade. Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's insane. I need to get those Thousand Sons done, obviously.
I might have to sit down and work out how many armies I've done in this time.
I've started many. I've started many. I've got a funny feeling my Death Guard are going to get done before my Thousand Sons.
Really?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've got Morty around here somewhere. I know I have. I had him for Christmas last year, but I put him in a specific box when I had this place renovated, and I can't remember what box he's in. So it's like,
You'll just hear a tapping one night. It's like,
the tapping of a scythe, yeah.
Yeah. Ding, ding. I'm still here, you know. Ding, ding, ding. You go to it'd be like Toy Story, but horrific.
But really, really horrific, yeah.
Let me out, Sid.
God, it would be if it's Mortarion. Bloody hell.
I was well thinking like the Tyranids just charging across your bedroom floor and eating your toes.
Yeah, I imagine even like really tiny Tyranids are really quite terrifying.
Oh, yeah, I mean, ants can take people down if they really think about it,
Well, we know they are, don't we? We know they are, because there are tiny Tyranids.
That's true, yes.
And they are nasty, and they do, like, poison you and envenomate you and eat you and whatnot.
Oh, man. How did he die? It was Warhammer, sir.
It was Warhammer.
Not again. We lose so many people to Warhammer. So this evening, we're going to have a look at the new, I was about to say Todex Kyranids. That's
Todex Kyranids.
Yeah,
that's a different thing entirely, that is.
Yeah, Codex Kirinov. That's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the two first codexes coming out of the gate for 10th edition, being Codex Tyranids and Codex Space Marines. And,
yeah, this was interesting, wasn't it? Because, like, I mean, obviously the first codices of any edition are always interesting because they set the format, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's even more interesting this time round because they have an established format. That's like one of the design principles for 10th, isn't it? Like they don't want it to get out of control again like it has in previous editions where the first codex has one format, then another format sort of sifts its way in towards like the midpoint. They don't want that this time. It's why they released the indices in the state that they did, where they're pretty much complete. You know, it's just tweaks, really. They release them to see how they play, how they work, which ones are at the bottom, which ones are at the top, and they've tweaked them with updates. And it's really worked. It has really worked. Every effort, if you look at like the win to loss rates in like, when they look at tournaments and the meta and whatnot, the disparity between the top percentile and the bottom percentile is only a few percent. It's never been that before.
No.
It's never been that close before.
No. It comes to the point where, the bottom scoring armies could actually very easily get into the middle or top. Yep. It just depends on the guy who's playing the game.
And that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
That's the way it should be. There should not be killer armies, there should not be killer armies. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some that still need a bit of a nerf. The Eldari, they kind of still need to nerf a little bit.
Yeah.
Tiny weensy bit, because the sort of fortune dice rule that they've got, it's still a little bit broken. It's still a little bit like cheating in a way. It's like a rule that allows you to cheat. But they've done it really well. I mean, like, if anything, these codices and the updates that they've come out with, it shows that they are doing that, and they're doing it in a really meaningful way. I mean, look at the Death Guard. The Death Guard were at the very bottom of the rung up until very recently. They layered in so much new stuff into the Death Guard to make them work, and it has worked.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They're now a really viable army and a really good one,
It's good having the Death Guard back doing damage.
The Thousand Sons were doing too well. They were fantastic. And they've been nerfed a teensy little bit, but only in ways that make sense. So some of the more abusable stuff has been gotten rid of. But they're doing very well still. They're still doing very, very well, Necrons, they're doing excellently. Genestealer cults doing really. Genestealer cults are actually really good, and they may need a little bit of a nerf themselves at some point. But the two armies that have had their codices, what they really demonstrate for me is the format is standard between them, and all being well, as long as they stick to this course, this will be as it is throughout. They'll get the codices out, and there won't be that annoying power creep that you get sort of halfway through the edition where the next codex is the killer codex and so on and so forth. And even if that does happen, it looks like they're going to be reactive to it. It looks like they're going to be there to sort of like adapt to that, which is great. That's really good to see.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Because it's Games Workshop thinking ahead.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to be happening, where I think a lot of the problems from Ninth was you had lots of different teams working on different books at any given time.
Yeah.
And then finding a place to release them. How I understand it here, it's the same teams working on the different parts of the same two books. Yeah. So this is all subject to change and obviously take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But how I understand it is that the idea is that going forward there will always be two codexes coming out in quick succession with a sense of rivalry between the two, and it's Team A, Team B.
Yeah.
So that makes it sound like one of the teams is worse, but no, Team 1, Team 2, however you want to put it, Team Even, Team Odd, and the idea is it's the same teams working on each side. So everything's kind of working with what already exists as it goes forward, and that gives it a much more level playing field for everybody, and that's perfect.
Oh, that's so good. That's what you need, isn't it, for this kind of game? That's what you need. And reading the codices, I mean, what I love is not enormous amounts have changed since the indices. The baseline is still there. So what you've got, what you're familiar with, that's what you're going to get in your codex. The difference is the ability to adapt your army and to customize it. So you can do loads of different things. One of the best things they've done, and I think this is something they've needed to do for entire generations of the game, they've gotten rid of they've unanchored the rules from the different detachments within the army. So like you don't have, like in the Tyranids Codex, your hive fleets are here. They have their descriptions, they're part of the background, there are entire sections talking about them, but they are not represented within the detachments per se. Like you don't have a Leviathan detachment, you don't have a Kraken detachment, and thank God for that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's fun that you bring up the Tyranids one, because the Tyranids have a tendency in not all editions, but certainly in some past ones, to be very single-minded. There is a certain, this is how you should play Tyranids.
Yeah. So this is how you structure your army. This is what you use. This is what works. This is what doesn't.
Absolutely. And what this version of the Codex has done, it has, as you said, untethered, and it allows you to create really interesting takes on Tyranids. Yeah. So if I just pull it up here, sorry, I'm reading all these very slowly. Here we go. Right. So an unending swarm. Okay. So you get the swarming masses, which is literally, you don't have any of the big armies. Big armies, no. You don't have any of the big models. It's all just like the small
termagants and hormagaunts and gargoyles. I mean, don't get me wrong. The thing I want to emphasize about these books is that a lot of the limitations that existed in the previous codices are just gone.
Yes.
So if you want to take the big monsters in an unending swarm, you do it. It's up to you. As an anchor point, why not? If you need that, if you want that in your army to sort of anchor the little Tyranids, then fine. Great. On the other hand, because you also don't have the force organization chart anymore, if you just want a blanket of Tyranids that are just going to swamp the battlefield, here you go. That's how you do it.
And what's cool is there are reasons to take just nothing but an unending swarm, and there's reasons to have big creatures. If you've got an unending swarm, your you've got a lot of fast-moving attacks that are going to be coming in and doing a load of damage. You have, where is it? Until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by the models in your unit have sustained hits 1 ability.
Yeah.
So, right, which is really nice, very, very nice. But the downside is you are losing a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't do the amount of damage, but once you put that damage in, it changes the army that you've got, and so you've got to look at it from a different way. And that's really cool because it puts it all down to the player to decide how they want their army to play. It means that every army in this edition is going to be, if not unique, then as close as you could ever want.
And that's like baked in as well. It's not just in the detachments. The detachments are really cool, and they just they sort of like just allow you to customize and apply a template to your army that makes it play in a particular way. But in the actual army list itself, all of the actual units, there's a reason to take everything. It's not the case anymore that, right, these are the best units, you take them because these are the ones that do everything well, and all the other stuff, leave it alone. You don't have those killer units in every slot, that are competing with one another. There's a reason to take anything and everything.
Yeah.
So, and because the Force Organization chart isn't there anymore, you can do that. I think people, what's happening in the culture of 40k as a result of the indices and these codices and the way 10th Ed is organized, we're still trying to get out of that mindset of the Force Organization chart, where you have to take your so many troops, your so many elites, your so many HQs. You don't need to do that anymore. You can take the weirdest armies imaginable,
Oh man. So when I was reading through this and through the indices, it hit me. Something ridiculous hit me. There is nothing stopping me taking a Genestealer cult Titan army. Right?
No.
It's completely doable. It is absolutely doable. You just have to use the Genestealer cult characters as allies, which takes a little bit of fudging, but there's nothing really. There's literally nothing actually stopping you from doing it. There's no ally percentage. There's no keywords that allow me to stop it from happening. If we go into the keyword section, I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. I am not quick with my hands, as people keep telling me. So yeah, the keywords. For example, if I just use the Psychophage, because it's the first thing I've opened up on. The keywords are Monster, Great Devourer, Harvester, and Psychophage. So all they are is keywords for buffs and things like that, right? It's all things that anything that has the Monster keyword will get an extra attack or whatever. Yeah, right. That's how that works. Has a faction keyword of Tyranids. Brilliant, fine. So how I understand it means that if I take a Genestealer cult, I don't know, a couple of vehicles and a Broodlord, I can have a Titan with them, which means I can have a Genestealer cult Titan and Armageddon Knights as an army. And this is that. Obviously, you've always been able to do stuff like this by going, I'm just doing it.
Just doing it, yeah.
But this is something that there is nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing stopping you. And because there's nothing stopping me, I kind of feel like I need to do it.
It's kind of fun, isn't it? I mean, I like the fact that you can muck about with the armies. I like the fact that you don't have to, like, if you wanted to take, you've got the unending swarm. The only limitation you've really got when it comes to army selection is you can't take, I think it's more than 3 of the same unit, so you can't like just swamp the area with like tons of Genestealers or whatever. That's not going to work, which is fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, because you want to have that variation. But then, even by doing that, if you play around with the Genestealer stuff, you can get 2 separate units of Genestealers, which then puts you up to 6.
Yeah, so it's kind of not a limitation at all, really, is it?
No.
You can still do it. I mean, I just love the fact that they are really, with the detachments in particular, they are really encouraging people to go for the weird armies, to go for the slightly strange, unbalanced armies. So you've got the Vanguard Onslaught, which is all of what are called the Vanguard organisms, which are things like that rove ahead of the main Tyranid race. So it is things like the Genestealers form. They're a Vanguard organism. But it's also your Lictors and your Death Leapers and things like that. So it's an army that's primarily composed of them. It's such a weird way of playing, but brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. This kind of Tyranid army hasn't been viable in previous editions, but looking at the
not since second at best, and even in second, you're kind of stuck because you've got that detachment force,
exactly,
the force organization chart.
But this is really interesting. I mean, I'm dying to see how this detachment works, because I have reading the rules and reading the units that it applies to primarily. I think it's going to be an absolute killer. It's going to be so quick, and it's going to get across the battlefield so quickly. And like, a lot of its units are going to be deploying in the enemy deployment zone, you know?
Yeah.
It's nasty. It's really nasty. It also allows you to take Death Leaper as a character, as a leader.
Yeah, that makes me happy.
Awesome. That's awesome, right? So it's effectively the Lictor force. It's the stealthy force for the Tyranids, and it's an absolute killer. I mean, the one that really attracts me, the one I really like the look of, is the Crusher Stampede. It's all the big monsters.
It is, yeah.
It's all the big monsters. It's almost like a classic Tyranid force, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You will have, if you want some swarms in there, it's like everything. There are no limitations here. If you want your swarms in there to back up the big monsters, take them. It's fine. Yeah. But it primarily benefits you to take a force that consists of Carnifexes and Screamer Killers and Tyrannofexes and not much else. You know, all just the big, big, big monsters.
Well, from a business point of view, what 40k has always done is it has forced you to buy things that you might not want in order to get the army that you want to get on the table.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. And that's a purely business decision, and okay, that's fine. That's a thing that happens. It's a product, and they want to try and sell you stuff. So okay, fine. This has gone around it a different way. What they've done is they've made everything something you want.
Yes, that's another thing, right? The redundancy is gone.
Yeah.
It is not the case anymore that you'll just look at one unit and go, oh, well, this other unit over here does it better, so I'm just going to take them. That's not the case anymore. They've really tailored every single unit in both of these codices, actually. So everything has a purpose. Everything has a place. I can see why you would want to take almost everything in this codex, you know?
Absolutely. And you said before about the taking Death Leaper as a character, as a leader. So looking through this, there's a really interesting thing that I found where you can take Death Leaper and get the 3 units of Von Ryan's Leapers.
Yep.
And what you've got there is the start of a Crusade force, right? And that is a beginning point to have. And if you look back through previous versions and you consider what a starting army looks like, that is a character you might like, maybe some form of tank or a heavy weaponry, and then you've got the infantry that you just like, yeah, it's just the guys, it's all right.
Yeah.
So out of the gate, what you've got is something where you can do really interesting things. And that's even before you get into how the new Crusade rules work, which is
really, it's way better than it was, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much going on. It's like a dedicated part of the codex now.
Yeah, it's not an also-ran. It's not an idea. A concept that they can play around with.
And there's so much going on in it as well. I mean, like, it's at the back of the book, but the Crusade rules are really complex. There's so much here. Yeah. You literally have a Tyranid invasion. It tells you how to play each stage of an invasion. of a massive hive fleet, how they like first appear in a system,
Yep.
how they like invade a world, and how they take it over and infest. It's just brilliant.
My favorite thing, and this is honestly, this to me is joy. And if this had come out when I was like 13, 14, I would spend an evening doing this without a shadow of a doubt. And that is generating worlds to devour.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? There's loads. They've reintroduced a lot of stuff from older 40k in this, so you can generate things using dice 6 rolls and whatnot. There's battle traits, there's agendas, there's requisitions, and there are worlds. You can generate certain kinds of worlds to invade.
Isn't it great?
It's brilliant.
What I want to do right now is, because I have 2d6 here, is I think we should find out what we're going to invade, George. Right? So I've got a 5. So we've got a hive world.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So what we have here is, in the hive world, we will get how many battles played. We've got 5 battles that we need to play, and we get D3 plus 3 biomass for each stage: the invasion, the predation, and the consumption. So D3 plus 3 biomass, 2D plus D3, and plus D6, which means that once you get onto the devouring stage after the battle, what have I just done? I've just managed to lose it. Here we go. You get to earn your biomass points, and then you get to build your army up in new and interesting ways going forward. Yeah. So once you've finished, because as I say, there's 3 stages to the Tyranid crusade: the invasion, the predation, and the consumption. And you get, it's just brilliant, isn't it? Yeah,
it's really good fun. You actually do what the Tyranids do, right? You consume the world and your opponents, and then you adapt. You actually use their biomass to adapt your army. It's just brilliant. The Tyranids have never been this before.
No. So you get your biomass points from doing the fights. So you have the Swarm Grows, which costs 2 biomass points, which is increase your Crusade Forces supply limit by 100 points. 4 biomass points, you get to buy rare biomorphs, so you can select a new character, reduce the cost of the Renowned Hero's requisition by 1 RP, and use it immediately to give that model a enhancement, as if it just gained a rank in Crusade.
That's brilliant. I mean, it's just, I love it. I love the system.
You're adapting them on the fly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like what the other codices have.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so dedicated.
Yeah.
That's what I like. It feels like they know people like to play like this.
Yeah.
They've really got from Ninth that people like these games, right?
Rolling dice, doing random tables. Yes, please. Gimme.
Utterly brilliant. And you flick on, and there's so much stuff. Battle scars. Tyranid units can get battle scarred. I mean, that's amazing. And they're different between like normal Tyranid units and Synapse units. That's fantastic. That is utterly, utterly fantastic. I mean, you talked about enhancements earlier. That's another thing I like about 10th, by the way. You know how in 8th and 9th you had like characters that had warlord traits, and then you had ones that had secondary warlord traits, and then they had a special item, and then they had a relic, and all that's gone in 10th.
Yeah.
All that's gone. You have your warlord, they have an enhancement, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's so much easier to use.
Massively.
It's so much easier. And you know, another thing, it's that thing again of pairing out redundancy, false choice. So when you look at the enhancements that are available for each detachment, every single one of them is good. Every single one of them is meaningful. You're going to have to make a considered choice about what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's not the case where, well, this is obviously the best one, so the others, let's just leave them aside.
Yeah. Well, this is what excites me. So all the way through the Tyranid Codex, there is a real sense of you have multiple options that you can take to do with as you please. Your base, how you want your army to start, is your choice. Yep. The upgrades, the biomorphs, all that type of thing is your choice. The battle scars, as you said before, I mean, what you've got here is a D6 roll, We have uncontrollable. This unit is never considered to be within synapse range of your army. By instinct alone, this unit cannot be targeted with stratagems. Mindless focus. Each time this unit is selected to shoot, models in this unit can only target the closest eligible enemy unit when resolving this unit's attacks. Bestial Rage. Every time this unit declares a charge, one of the targets of that charge must be the closest eligible unit. They're nothing massive, but they're enough to make something interesting.
Yeah, to make it fun, to make it interesting. Yeah, the design imperative behind these 40k has never been this coherent. It's never been this considered, and it's never been this. I mean, I hesitate to use the word, but balanced at this point in the game, at this early stage. When new editions of the game have come out, and when the first codices have come out, there's always been this sense that they're feeling their way with them.
Yeah.
But they're not quite there yet. They don't quite know how the new edition works. So the early codices tend to be a bit naff. That's the truth of the matter, and they tend to become quite redundant as time goes on, and newer codices are released, and they get into their groove. It doesn't feel like that. It's going to be the way with these.
No, this is why I think that this has been worked on since 9th got launched, because there is such a real sense. So only having the two codexes here, the Space Marines and the Tyranids in front of me. What I find fascinating is that they are very much built around an existing formula. Yeah. So, there isn't a sense of one is built to be more Space Marine-y, the other one's built to be more Tyranidy. They have an actual format which they are sticking to.
Yep.
And if this is going to be the case all the way through, brilliant. Because what this format makes me think of is this is 3rd edition 40k done right.
Done properly, yeah.
Yeah.
Without the nonsense, without the rushing out of the gates to get as many codices out there as possible, yeah?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It feels like everything's prepared, doesn't it? It feels like everything's been done already.
There's a real sense of there's not any wasted space.
Yeah.
Everything is done to do something, whether it's to get a rule across in the simplest way possible so you can understand it, or it's to get the flavor across. I mean, just simple things like the little background pictures and stuff they've got for chapters. They're all of the same style, but they are different enough to fit each codex.
Yeah, and that's something
to get the feel across, and that I really like that. So if we go into the Space Marines Crusade rules here. Yeah, it is the same format all the way through. You can.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. In the previous, in 8th and 9th, the Crusade rules they were a different format in every codex. They were a completely different thing, and some codices had better ones, some codices had crap ones. I mean, like my beloved Thousand Sons in 9th. Love the way they played in the game, but their Crusade rules were crap.
Yeah.
Because they were an afterthought. Nobody really bothered with them. They were a complete afterthought,
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's the same format as the Tyranid Codex, as in the Space Marine Codex,
Yeah.
And and the same page space and dedication has been shown to both.
Yep. So
which is great.
If you've got a codex, you can kind of guess where the rules are going to be for something, just from owning a different codex. And that's smart.
Oh, that's great.
That's really, really smart.
It's more accessible.
Yeah.
It means you're not going to be doing that thing where you're flipping through the damn codex looking for where's the rule for this? Where's the information for this? I don't quite know. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's all it's in the detachments. It's in the units. It's and it's so simple to use. It's so simple to use. I mean, they had a job. The Tyranid Codex would have been easier to do than the Space Marine Codex for the simple reason that the Space Marines, because they always get new miniatures, of course they always get new rules as well. And so you've had this problem with the Space Marines where they've just been laden down by redundancy. There are units that do the same things as other units, but better or worse, They fulfill the same battlefield role, but better or worse. They've really gone to town with this new Space Marine Codex to pare that down a little bit.
Aaron, when I opened this up, I mean, granted, yeah, there is a lot more
It's a
data
big
sheets.
codex.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. And it's going to be. There's no way you can get around that. It is always going to be a big codex. But one of the brilliant things they've done is narrowed that gap between the Primaris and the Firstborn. Now that
yeah,
only exists in the fluff. It only exists in the fluff. So they're all the same.
yep,
They're all the same. They're all the same. Statistics and whatnot. There are specific Primaris units, that's for sure, but they have very specialized roles to play, and
yeah,
you can take them in any Space Marine army, so it doesn't really matter. They've done things like, you know how like a Terminator is a Terminator is a Terminator, right? It doesn't really
yeah,
matter whether they're wearing relic Terminator armor or whether they're wearing up to date Terminator armor. How much different can they be? So that notion of having like your different patterns of Terminator armor, your Tartarus Terminator armor, and so on, it
yeah.
exists in the background. And if you've got your different types of Terminator, your cataphracti Terminators and whatnot, you can take them, but they all use the same unified unit entry now,
Yes.
which is great.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's
It's
absolutely
frigging
wonderful.
great. It's frigging great. Things like your librarians. Librarians are a pain in the arse in ninth edition because you had to look at like what supplement you had to see what psychic powers they had access to.
Yeah, yeah.
All librarians are pretty much the same now. They all have the same stat line. They all have the same psychic powers, and there are different entries for different types of librarian if you want like them to perform different roles,
Yeah.
which is great. That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. They've even done that thing that they kind of needed to do, really, where some of the older units, the creakier units are just gone. The ones that have new models and new entries, like for example, I know, they were much beloved. They've been parts of Space Marine forces for a long time. Bikes, not in here.
No.
No bikes. What there are those new Primaris versions. And
Yeah,
if you want to use your old bikes, you just use that entry.
absolutely.
You just use that entry. It's just the same. It's
Yeah.
great. That's
And
fine.
as long as if you're in a tournament and yeah, you have the right base size, no one's
Yeah.
going to give two damns,
No one's going to care.
and
They're
that's
all
fine.
outriders now. They're all
Yeah.
outriders now because there was no point in having Space Marine bikes and outriders. There was just
No.
no point because outriders are just better.
Yeah,
They're just better. They do the same thing, but
but
better.
better. I was happy to see the Razorbacks still kicking around in the Space
Yeah.
Marine Codex, though. That made me happy. It's like,
Yeah, Razorback's still here. And here's the other thing. You've got so many different units that have so many different loadouts and do so many different things. And again, the big problem in the previous editions was redundancy. There were just better units. Now they've all got their own little bespoke rules and their own little bespoke loadouts that mean they do different things.
yeah,
They
yeah.
have different roles to perform on the battlefield, which is great.
I will say though that there are two entries in the Space Marine ones where I feel that they didn't go far enough, and that is the you've got 4 different types of dreadnought.
There are 4. They did say, didn't they, this was going
Yeah,
to be like basically the Dreadnought edition of 40k. And I
yeah.
tell you what, it is. Dreadnoughts in every army in which they occur are frigging brilliant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the other one is the you've got Lieutenant, Lieutenant in Reaver armor,
Yep.
Lieutenant in Phobos armor, and
Oh,
Lieutenant
yes.
with combi weapon. And you could have probably just done with getting Lieutenant and then adding the armor in afterwards, but
I mean,
well.
even that said, they all do different things.
Very true. Yeah,
They
very true.
all attach to different units and unlock different abilities by attaching to them.
Yeah.
So they've really worked this well. It's because of the format of 10th. It's really genius. It really is. It means that there is a reason to take your Lieutenant in Reaver armor. He actually gives your unit lethal hits.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Your Lieutenant with combi weapon does different things to your Lieutenant in Phobos armor.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. It means there's a reason to take everything. And you're going to be customizing your army around that. So you can take these really weird, stealthy Space Marines, It's great. It's really cool.
There is a part of me that really wants to do the Deathwing, but
yeah,
after reading this, I started thinking about my beloved Space Sharks again. And it's like, oh no.
Go for it.
I don't need to be doing 2 separate Space Marine armies, but doing the Deathwing is just all Terminators and Dreadnoughts. It's doable. Tons of fun. but then doing like a really sort of fast but ballistic style force with the space sharks. It's like, yep, god damn it, this is all very doable.
Yep. And once again, you've got your detachments in here, which, I mean, oh my God, removing the detachments from the chapters.
Oh,
Thank you.
at last. At
Thank
goddamn last.
you. So, you're just not tied down. If you want like an Imperial Fist force that's really quick, that's all on bikes, do it. Do it. You take what's the detachment? Stormlance Task Force, which is ostensibly based on the White Scars, but not excluded to them. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
If you want to do your own chapter, you have so much work here already done for you that you can just put together and go, well, actually, this chapter is a chapter that spent all of their time on a planet where, I don't know, it's tidally locked, so they're always moving. And it's like, yeah, cool, brilliant.
Or, I mean, even if you want to use an established chapter, this is like a specialist strike force within the Imperial Fists that specializes in bike assaults, in fast assaults,
Yeah.
So there's nothing limiting you. And I love that. I love that so much. And all the detachments, again, are really meaningful. They're really meaningful. My favorite one, the one I would go for if I was doing a Space Marine force, is definitely the First Company Task Force.
Yeah.
I love that one. That one is composed. I mean, people have been aching for this for entire, like, generations of the game, entire editions, but you just haven't been able to do it outside of like specialist chapters like the Dark Angels and whatnot. So the First Company Task Force, it is highly tailored towards veterans, so Stern Guard and the like, and Terminators.
Yep.
It's the Terminator Force, this one, and it kicks ass. It's brilliant. It's such a wonderful piece of work. It's going to be a small army because it's going to be expensive in terms of points. It's going to be highly elite, so you're going to have to work with it really well. But my God, is it going to cause some damage?
Oh, yeah. And that's the one that I would be using to make a Deathwing force out of.
Yeah. Until, of course, I don't know how they're going to do it. I doubt very much there is going to be a dedicated Dark Angels Codex or a dedicated Blood Angels Codex. I think the way they're going to do it is they're going to release a supplement for this codex, which is like divergent chapters.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the Dark Angels, the Blood Angels, the divergent ones, the ones that can't be entirely included in here. And we know they're going to do that because the units aren't in here. So like your Deathwing Knights and the Lion. Obviously, the Lion isn't in here.
No, he isn't.
So
I remember thinking it was a bit of a weird one to have, but no, it makes a lot of sense because this is just. Yeah,
these are your standard chapters. These are your chapters that aren't as divergent as like the Space Wolves and the Dark Angels and whatnot. But it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Robite is here, obviously, at the very head, and he's an absolute beast. He's a real nasty piece of work, anyway. Bloody hell.
How old is the Marinus Calgar miniature now?
This version of Marnius Calgar is not that old. This is the version of him that came out during the big campaign, the Psychic Awakening campaign.
Ah, right.
He crossed the Rubicon Primaris.
Yes, of course he did, yeah. I was trying to work it out. I was trying to work out where, because he didn't look like he was that old, but I couldn't think of where he came out. But of course,
this is quite new, this one.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's very good as well. I mean, they've made him kind of the equivalent of Abaddon, which is nice. I like that. I like that level of balance. I think that works really well.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for Calgar,
I like Calgar,
especially after reading the Marvel comic about it, where it's like, yeah, my name's not Marinus Calgar.
Yeah. No, he's cool. I like Marnius Calgar fine. And also, I mean, another thing they've done in this book, they've toned down the whole Ultramarine thing. Have you noticed?
Yeah,
they've
I really have.
Toned it down, really toned it down. They're here. I mean, they're in the artwork. They're represented, but they aren't everywhere.
No. I mean, a lot of the pictures of models are done up in Ultramarines colours and stuff.
Yeah. Which is it's the way it's going to be. They are the principal Space Marine chapter. That makes absolute sense to me. But that's fine. That's only in the detachments. All of the other artwork, it's really well balanced. You've got like loads of different types of Space Marines, and also, I mean, like really weird stuff as well, like the really strange Divergent chapters represented.
Yeah,
which I like a lot.
I quite like the fact that you've got the Iron Hands in there as well. It's just hello. You don't see them very often.
No, absolutely. But they've got their their detachment, which is redolent of them.
Yeah,
which is lovely.
The Iron Storm.
Yeah, the Iron Storm Spearhead. It's not. I mean, it's. I just love the way they've done it. I think it just opens up the whole game and the whole codex. You can do what you like. It's not trying to force you to collect an army or play an army in the way that they tell you to.
No, it's entirely your choice. I mean, you can take a Salamander army if you want to use the Firestorm Assault Force, right? Perfect, makes perfect sense.
Yep.
But there's nothing stopping you from using one of the other ones to make a
Salamander's army. Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all.
That's the thing I really like. That's the thing that really makes me happy. Is there's a lot of I think learning that's come up from Kill Team.
Definitely.
In order to, here is the starting point. You go, you do what you want to do. And that is a really smart option to take because, I mean, 40K is their flagship game. It is their flagship IP. So, getting it out there is always going to be, it has to live or die by how people can play it and how excited people are to play it.
And how accessible it is, of course, that's the thing. And this is, right? It's joyous putting together armies from these codexes. I've done it, it's one of the things I sometimes do. It's a mental exercise. It's fun, and it's so easy. It's so easy because you're not thinking about, I've only got 3 troops units. I've got to get more of those. I can't have this Eradicator squad because I've already got a Desolation squad and so on. You're not thinking that, It's like, I can take it.
Yep.
If I wanted an army that consisted almost primarily of characters, I could do it. It's a possibility. It probably wouldn't be a very good army, but you could do it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's your choice what you can put on the table. Whether or not it works is entirely up to you.
And that's so much fun, isn't it? I mean, and you're starting to see it. As people are getting their heads around it, you are starting to see that. I've seen some freaky, weird armies out there lately, and some of the YouTube channels I watch who do battle reports, and they're starting to have real fun with it. You're starting to get your Tyranid armies that are full of big monsters. You're starting to get your Space Marine armies that are primarily dreadnoughts and stuff like that. There's a World Eaters one I saw that was brilliant. It was 3 Demon Princes on foot, 3 Demon Princes with wings, Angron, and tanks. And it was like, I mean, it was unbalanced as all hell. It was unwieldy. It would have been really hard to play, but boy, did it look like fun.
What I'm really excited for is how this format is going to work with the Orcs. Because this could be a proper second coming for the Orcs.
Yes!
It's weird, actually. It's always been strange. In the same way that Terminators are very much a figurehead for 40k. Yeah, and I was always worried that what you can do with the Terminators, and didn't need to be worried. Terminators are back, and they are better than ever.
And it's their edition. I mean, they rock. Terminators, and all of them as well. Like the Imperial Terminators, the Chaos Terminators, the Plague Marine Terminators, the Scarab Occult. Bloody hell, the Scarab Occult. It's amazing. They are some of the best units in the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, oh god, I love these Terminators.
And the fact you can take an army off them now, that's nice, isn't it?
Yep, that's something I've always wanted, and now it's in front of me, and I'm fighting the urge. But for the Orcs, it could be the make or break for a new generation of Orc lovers, because Orcs have always been, in a way that nothing else has ever really managed to get. Orcs have always been the poster, like the unofficial poster child of 40k.
Yeah.
They're not orcs. They're orcs.
Yeah.
They've got a real look, feel, and smell to them. And by having things like the Force organization chart, it's always forced orcs to be a square peg in a round hole.
It's stymied them, hasn't it? It just hasn't worked for them because you're not meant to. Why would orcs have a Force organization chart? Why would they organize like that?
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. And they found ways and means to make it seem less problematic, but it's always been a problem where orcs didn't feel orky enough.
They didn't feel orky enough, yeah.
And they, in my eyes, I don't think they have since Warg the Orcs in Rogue Trader, where they were just a big old colourful spew of things coming at you. Something like this, you are going to be able to do all sorts of things with the Orcs. You are going to have
oh my god, the wacky
so much fun. Oh yeah,
because they are one of the armies that has an almost equivalent number of units to the Space Marines. So
absolutely,
like you can have armies like that formed primarily of burner boys.
Yeah.
Or something like that, it's bonkers.
Well, think how easy it is going to be making a revolutionary grot army.
Oh yeah, you're so going to be able to do that now.
Yeah.
You are so going to. I mean, you've never been able to do it with the Force organization chart in place. It's never been possible, not really.
No.
Now, yep,
absolutely.
Go for it.
Because the way it's always worked in the past is you've had to have a couple of orcs in there just to make it work. And people have found ways around it by, modding like 5 grots standing on each other's shoulders and a grot with a inside Space Marine armor and stuff like that, which is always really fun.
It's fun. It's great,
But this is going to open up the ability to do so much with the orcs and really get the orcs back to where they need to be.
It's so exciting, isn't it? Seeing these codices as they've come out. This is, I've got to say, this is the most excited I've been for the game in a long, long time. Because these codices are brilliant. This is the best Space Marine codex for several editions. It is. It's just the best. It's simplified, it's refined, it's so much more accessible and easy to use, and it's fun to read as well.
It is. I really like the little cutouts.
Oh, I loved it. I loved reading this book. And it's, a lot of it is the familiar information, but it hasn't just been regurgitated this time. It's actually been rewritten. And there are just little subtle things, little emphases that are different, little bits of description that are different. And I love that. I absolutely love that. It goes so in depth as to what the Space Marines are, how they function, what their psychology is, and stuff like. I just love it. Absolutely love it. This is the stuff I love.
The digging into the armies and finding out what actually beats beneath.
Yeah. And I mean, my favorite part of Space Marine codices, and it always has been, is the bit where it talks about the divergent chapters. I just love that. And this has got loads. This has got absolutely tons. And it goes by chapter by chapter what their descendants are. And then you've got the ones of unknown lineage, which are really clever and brilliant. I mean, one of them, the Minotaurs, they're world eaters, aren't they?
Oh, yes, they are.
They're derived from the world eaters. It's just not telling you. In the same way that the blood ravens are obviously derived from the Thousand Sons.
Yep. But you don't want to be telling people that. Absolutely not.
Nope.
Man.
But it is the case, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, they get that close, don't they, to basically saying it, and then they pull back.
It's akin to the, what is the Lady of the Lake in Bretonian legend?
Yeah.
We're not actually going to say it, but here's enough hints for you to be able to work it out.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I love that. I love it. And I mean, some of these divergent chapters are new as well. They've introduced new ones for like the Primaris and whatnot, which is great. I mean, there's another one here, the Covenant of Fire. They are ostensibly, it says they're Iron Hand successors, but all of their imagery is word bearers.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
I love stuff like that because it's...
Me too. There's another one, Sons of the Phoenix. They're ostensibly Imperial fists, but they've got purple armor, and their chapter symbol isn't a million miles away from the original Emperor's Children. It's like Sons of the Phoenix.
Yep.
The Phoenician.
Yep. It's It's tap dancing right up,
right
right
on
up.
the edge.
Yeah,
Right on the edge. And I love that shit. I think that's brilliant. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that, like, with the Divergent chapters in particular, they've introduced some of the more negative aspects of the Space Marines and emphasized it. Some of these guys are bastards. They're just evil, you know. They are like, you know, they are that archetype of the genetically enhanced Ubermensch super fascist.
yeah. Aye. Which it's one of those things I think 40k always, not always, but over the last few years they've kind of,
It kind of lost, didn't it?
yeah,
They
they've
tried to make
worried.
the Space Marines too heroic, and I don't
Yeah,
like that. I don't
no,
like that. That's not what they were meant to be, right? They are
no,
satires. That's their point, right?
yeah,
They're like fascist in a way that no fascist country or nation or movement in our actual history could ever dream of being.
no, no, because it's the only way that humanity survives in the 40k
Oh
universe,
well,
unfortunately.
that's what they say,
Yeah,
but we know that's
yeah.
false, don't we? We know that's not
We
true.
Yes, we do. We do.
We know that's not true. I mean, and that's part of the irony. Yeah,
Vote
that's
on.
part of the irony. Yeah, vote on, exactly.
Oh man, I'm actually really excited what the Codex for the Voton's going to look like, because
Me
if they,
too. But I mean, they're not coming for a long while, are they?
no,
They're
no,
not for a long, long while. But it is going to be interesting. I mean, the ones that they've pushed back, it seems to me, the ones that are not on the map or which are coming later on the map, I think it seems to me they're the ones that have the least complete miniatures ranges as well. The
yeah,
ones that need things added to them. So things like the Death Guard, the Thousand Suns, the World Eaters, and so on. The Votan, I mean, I know the Votan are a more or less complete range, but I imagine they're going to have stuff added to them.
yeah. What they need a bit more in the way of like defensive stuff, because
Yes,
they're
yeah,
a very punch army. They're not a
yeah.
very, you can't really get very defensive with them. Um, I can imagine Gene Stealer cults are going to get something
Hmm.
big out of it. I don't think they'll get
Yeah,
anything new troop wise, but I think they'll get something big, like a new
hmm,
form of aberrant or some form of something
yeah,
like that.
something like that.
You know, something that fills the big troop type. You
Hmm.
know, the brute, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what else is there out there that needs something?
The
I've,
Thousand Suns
fa-
need a fair bit. I mean, they
yeah,
work fine, but they need they need new units. You know, they need stuff
yeah,
to give them a bit of variety. You know, what I would expect at the very least is like a new demon engine or something like that that's Thousand
yeah.
Suns specific.
And that would make sense actually, that the Chaos armies, the Chaos Space Marines, get new demon engines. What would
Yeah,
be interesting though is trying to run one of the Renegade Space Marine armies.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
using
we're going to see how that works relatively soon because I think the Chaos Space Marines are fourth, aren't they, on the map?
something like, yeah,
So, like, we've got the Necrons coming soon, and I can't wait
yeah.
to see what they do with them. Again, another Xenos Codex so early.
I know,
Brilliant.
it's impressive, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, they're another army, by the way, that's doing incredibly well.
They have really picked up again, like having the
Oh, they're
Necrons there.
nasty. They're nasty. The ability to resurrect that they have and the ability to enhance that resurrection is nasty. I
Hmm.
mean, I've seen like units that you've just destroyed to get off an objective. Oh, next turn they all come back,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, oh my god, it's tough. You know, keeping them off of objectives. It's really tough, and that makes sense. You know, it's not something that I personally lament or anything like that because that's what they're meant to be like.
There's a real sense of trying to get the armies on the tabletop to fit the fiction that they've got.
Absolutely.
Um, and
Absolutely. I've played a couple of games in 10th with my Thousand Sons, and they work so well.
mhm,
Oh my God, they work so well. I mean, I love them in ninth, but the big problem, of course, was because you had the whole bloody psychic phase and you had all these psychers everywhere who had different powers and access to different laws and they all had different enhancements and warlord traits and what. It was a nightmare.
yeah,
It was a nightmare figuring it out. Now they're powerful and they have access to powers that no other army has, but it's easy. It's so much easier to just do it,
you,
to just use it, you know?
maybe that should be the tagline for this 40k 10th edition. Just do it,
Yeah.
because it worked for a couple of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the most user-friendly version of 40k we've had for years,
Hmm.
possibly forever, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, this, I said before, like quite flippantly, these codexes feel like the 3rd edition codex is done right.
Done properly, yeah.
And what I mean by that is the 3rd edition codexes were very much trying to get the flavour across by using the page count, like to make a smaller page count, but still trying to get a lot of that flavour across.
Yeah.
And whilst this isn't just really a smaller page count in any way, shape or form, there's a lot of building the flavour through showing you things rather than just telling you, which is great, brilliant, which leaves space to get a lot of the stuff like the Crusade rules in a workable state, to get the all the data sheets in there, all that type of stuff. And there's a real sense of considering what this is going to look like in 2 years' time, 3 years' time. And that in itself gives me a lot of hope for this edition.
Me too. It feels to me, I mean, hopefully it doesn't spiral out of control like previous editions have, but it feels like it's the most controlled and the most coherent from launch, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely it does, yeah.
There's been a lot of work put into these books, and it shows. It really shows. They feel like they're really considered, and I just love that.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with them. And of course, you've got the new version of the game, Combat Patrol, which looks like loads of fun.
Absolutely. I'm really into Combat Patrol.
I'm so into it. It's pick up and play.
Yeah.
It's pick up your box. You've got what you've got your rules. Go for it. Pick up and play.
Well, if I can get this idea I've got of making a little weekender for the Fluffenhammer, it's Combat Patrol that I think that would be using.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's so easy to use. As soon as I've got a couple of armies up and running, I'm gonna use this to get some of our mutual friends into 40k. Actually, the Combat Patrol rules, because it's just so much fun. It's so much fun.
Well, I mean, my thinking was if I could get to TFN this year, which I still don't know if I can, because obviously Bring Out Your Lead is more important for me to get to.
Yeah.
But I want to go and see people. One of my ideas was to grab a table in the restaurant area in the evening and just start running some Combat Patrol games.
Gosh, that's a great idea. That is an absolutely brilliant idea. I'll absolutely join you.
We'll wait and see if I can actually get down this year.
Of course.
Expensive. I have a child now that'll have to come with me. And that's going to make things a lot more expensive because he'll see all the toys.
Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. Although, I mean, this edition, I think I'm probably going to get every codex.
Yeah, I can see that.
It feels like every single one is going to bring something interesting to the table. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out, how they manifest in this new system.
I think I'll probably be more choosy because AOS is still my go-to.
Your primary, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And every single AOS codex is a joy not codex, Battle Tome is a joy to read.
In 3.0 they've been amazing. All of them have been brilliant.
There's a reason I've got them all,
Yeah, right. Jesus, they've been so good. And getting better, right? I mean, they're just...
It's... Oh, God, I freaking love AOS through. Like, AOS 3 is like...
Oh, it is the best version of the fantasy game, isn't it? It is just like the best the fantasy game has ever frigging been.
Absolutely, and I'm scared of what 4's going to be because I don't want this version
You don't want it to end, yeah?
No.
I just read some of those books. I mean, my favourite is the Hedonites, obviously. It's always going to be the friggin' Hedonites. It's such a good book.
To be really bizarre and strange and odd, my favourite book's actually The Slaves to Darkness.
Is it? Yeah, well, I can see that. It is brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
It is absolutely standout, fantastic. They poured so much effort into that.
Yeah, they really did. It is an incredible read, and it's one I pick up and read just for the joy of reading.
Just for the fun of reading it, yeah, absolutely. Likewise. In fact, you know what? This edition, the Chaos books are just universally fantastic.
Yeah.
Universally. They've done such good work with them. Even like my least favorite, which would probably be the Blades of Khorne, just because Khorne is not my thing.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's so much fun, and they are killers. Oh my God! Blades of Khorne in 3rd ed. Oh Jesus! You don't want to fight them.
No, No, and I have, and
They're
no.
bastards. They're
Yeah.
bastards. They're really different. Mind you, the Hedonites are too.
Well, the Blades of Corner, the first time my big fist origami has ever been just brought to a standstill.
Yeah.
Everything else that origami's hit, it has gone through. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
may not win a game,
Yeah.
every time, but it will go through everything. It will smash the shit out of everybody.
But not the Blades of Corner.
No, the Blades fought them to a standstill, like
I'm
literally.
not surprised.
And I was kind of shocked by that.
It has one of the most powerful single units in the game, which is Scarbrand.
Yes. Yeah.
Scarbrand's a ridiculous beast. If he hits with that thing that does 16 mortal wounds, it's like, really?
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
done.
wow. The only other thing that can do stuff like that are like the god characters. It's stuff like, it's Archaon with his Slayer of Kings, or Nagash with Hand of Dust, or whatever, you know?
Oh, it's Nagash in 3 is, even though he's like not around anymore, the fact that his resurrection thing for the skeletons is as powerful as it is a game changer.
Yeah, he's still as nasty as he ever was, and he's a complete beast. He's a complete beast. I mean, Archaon is too. I mean, he's not as beasty as he used to be, because you can't do the naughty stuff with like putting him in a Disciples of Zeech army so he benefits from the fate dice. You can't do that anymore. Which is, I mean, you can put him in the army, he just doesn't benefit from the fate dice anymore, which is good, by the way, because it makes him it literally made him unbeatable in the previous edition of the game.
So in 40k then, in 10th 40k, what would you say is the codex you're most looking forward to seeing?
I mean, it's always going to be the Chaos Codices, obviously, but it's the Death Guard. I really want to see what they do with them. The detachments. Because of course, like, this is going to be the fascinating thing, right? The cult armies, they've never had detachments before per se.
No.
They've had tiny little, like, you know, you've got your plague companies that were slightly different. You had your Thousand Sons Covens that were slightly different, but they were never meaningfully different. This time they are going to be. And that's fascinating. So what are you going to see from that? What detachments are the Death Guard going to have? What detachments are the World Eaters going to have? What detachments are the Thousand Sons going to
have? The one I'm most excited by is the Gene Stealer cults.
Yeah, I mean, they're already very good.
And I'm fascinated to see what that's going to look like. Although, saying that, since we started this, I have now become more and more considering of the orcs.
Yeah.
And I don't want an orc army as well. But I've got a feeling that with this type of codex, it's going to be really fun to make an all, like, how do I put this? An all bulletin point style orc army, you know, where you can throw everything into it and make it proper
crazy, bonkers, just what like it was in Second Ed, effectively, where you could just more or less take what you wanted.
I mean, I've always said that the reason I'd get into an orc army would be to do a freebooters. Because I love the freebooters.
Perfectly viable. I mean, he's even a character, isn't there now? The pirate guy. I love him. Captain something. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. He's effectively a pirate, you know?
Yeah, and I love it. So with this kind of codex, it doesn't seem like that hard of a stretch to be able to get a freebooters army running, which is something that hasn't really existed for a long time. It's always been basically Evil Sons or Bad Moons.
But now they're not going to exist in the rules as such. They'll exist in the background, but the detachments, there will be a freebooters detachment in the Orc Codex. There's no doubt.
I would have thought so.
There's no doubt. It won't be called that, so it's not limited, but it will be effectively a freebooters detachment.
And that right there will just be the point where I just go, well, shit, I'm doing a freebooters army.
That's that, isn't it?
In the same way that this one has made me go, well, shit, I'm doing a Terminator army, and the Tyranid army is like, oh, shit, I'm doing a Carnifex army.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you've got I got the Leviathan box set, so I'm doing a Tyranid army de facto. It's just something that's happening, you know.
Well, I'm waiting for the next multi-part magazine to come out, because that always uses what was in the starter boxes with the extra bits here and there.
Oh, of course. So it's going to be the Screamer Killer. It's going to be the Von Ryan's Leapers and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So that'll give me both my Terminators and my Tyranids. So I'll just wait for that to come out.
They're big bastards, those Terminators, I can tell you. They're big, beefy
Yeah.
SOBs. They really are.
They are so good.
They're very nice to customize into Slanesh Terminators, I've got to say, because they've got big, flat spaces that you can go to town on.
Yeah, and just start sculpting. Yeah.
Just start sculpting and adding bits and going nuts with them. It's great fun.
The question is, will they be Deathwing or will they be Space Sharks? Who knows? I won't know until I start building
until
them,
you sit down and start doing it, right? Who knows? But it's very exciting. It's all very exciting. I am so into 10th. I'm so into 10th. I think they've done a great job with it. It is without doubt the best version of 40k for, well, maybe ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just so accessible. It's so much fun. It's done away with almost all the restrictions that have bedeviled us since like third ed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's there's a real sense of both looking backwards and forwards with these codexes.
It's interesting, isn't it? It does. Yeah. It feels like it's almost looking back to second ed.
Yeah,
it's got that feeling about it because that's how what restrictions do exist kind of work.
Yeah. The restrictions in there were always in the rules rather than the a force organization chart, which. I remember when that thing dropped, and I was just so angry.
Yeah, the third ed, it's not great.
It's
I've
why I stopped playing.
Liked it. What I hated about it more than anything is that it restricts some armies more than others. Because some armies just have the better troops, That's just the way it is. So Space Marines were fine because they have highly elite troops.
Yeah.
Others, not so much.
Well, if you think at that point I was playing an Orc army and I was playing a what was the other one I was playing at the time? Eldar army.
Yeah. Eldar were OP as fucking third ed. They were ridiculous.
Yeah, but when you start putting those things in, it's like, I don't want to have these things.
No. So you don't, I mean, the Eldar Codex, you only had Guardians.
Yeah.
As troops. So you had no choice. You had to have Guardians. At least, I think it was at least 3 units of Guardians.
That's correct. And, you just, really? I don't want this many. I
don't want to. I mean, now you would want to take them because they're freaking brilliant. I mean, now they're freaking amazing. But now, of course, if you don't want to have them, if you want your Bealtan Swordwind army of just aspect warriors, go for it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
That makes me happy. That makes me real excited because it means that you're not going to be playing the same 5 armies again and again and again. There are opportunities here to see some really interesting stuff, and that in itself is something that makes me super happy because that's a big part of the hobby for me is making an army yours.
Yes. Exactly that. And I mean, even the mechanical stuff, like putting an army list together, I always found it a real headache shoving stuff into that force organization chart. You want stuff and you can't have it.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's what I want the army to look like.
Not unless you had that piece of software that Wib and Snipe reviewed a couple of weeks back, which was the force organization chart data sheet. Which, you have to actually install on Windows 95. It was incredible, and I was like, if I'd had that back in the day, that might have made life a bit easier.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's bedeviled the game for a long time. That has.
It has,
and it's the way it doesn't really trust the players either. I hate that. It sort of takes agency away from the players and it treats you a bit like a child,
Yeah, well, as I've said before, I think that's a business decision that they made.
Yeah.
In order to get the stuff you want, you've got to buy the stuff you don't.
You've got to buy this stuff. So you've got to buy this set and this set and this set to make your army work. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's something I've always had a problem with.
Which is, I mean, it's contrary to even that, really, isn't it? Because it's a classic corporate decision in the sense that it doesn't understand the way its own business works. Because now people are free, they're going to buy it, they're going to go nuts. They're going to buy whatever they like. They're going to buy loads of dreadnoughts and loads of carnifexes and whatnot. They're going to buy 3 demon princes on foot and 3 demon princes with wings and Angron and whatnot.
And a tank.
And a tank, why not? Yeah.
Well, I think this is what makes it really interesting is if little Timmy goes into Games Workshop with his grandmother because he's got some money for his birthday and he wants to start playing. He wants to buy it stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy behind the counter is going to have an easier time saying, well, what do you want to get?
Yes, what do you want to get? And also with the combat patrol thing, it's like, well, here's your start. Here's how you do it. This is the best start, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And rather than saying, well, if you want one of these, you're going to have to buy this and this, and that's it just makes everything easier for everyone,
doesn't it?
And that's the important thing here. It becomes, as Warhammer keeps saying, Warhammer is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And finally 40k has finally picked up on that and gone, oh, okay, yes, it is, let's do that,
let's do it this way. And it works so well. These codices are fun.
They really are. I've really enjoyed going through them and just looking at all the little things, and granted, most of my time's been spent going through the Crusade stuff, because the Oathsworn campaign,
it's so good, isn't it? So you can actually launch like an Imperial campaign, like the Indomitus Crusade, if you want to.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. What the Space Marines do, right? I mean, this is how they function.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that you can like build a chapter master out of that.
And I love the fact it's the only place you can build a chapter master.
Yes.
So like you don't necessarily have a chapter master in the main game, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because chapter masters are rare.
Yeah.
Like there's literally one in a chapter, and there can never ever be another one. So your chapter masters are your characters. It's Marnius Calgai, it's Kyvan Shrike, and whatnot.
So if you're building your own chapter, and you can make your own chapter master using the Master of the Codex and Master of Combat and whatnot, you've got yourself something really cool that's yours.
Yeah, it's yours. It belongs to you, and it's going to have its own history because it's built up through the Crusade rules.
And that right there, having the narrative involved in the game, perfect. Lovely.
It's so good, isn't it? It's so good. I love it. I mean, I love the spread of characters as well. I forgot how many different special characters have been released for the Space Marines recently.
Yeah, there's been a fair few, hasn't there?
There's loads. Pedro Cantor, he's actually quite an old one. That's an old kit, that is. Tor Garadon, I forgot about him. The Imperial Fist guy with the big Gravis armor and everything. Brilliant. Iron Father Feros, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
He's a proper little winner, like, isn't he?
He's just such a good model.
I'm just see him go. I'm just really happy that the Razorback's still here.
It's around. It's around. I mean, it's a great codex. I mean, I'm not usually that excited by the Space Marine Codex. This one, they've done such good work with it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real sense of hopefulness that you can see going forward.
I love the fact they've taken the hard decisions as well and gotten rid of like the divergent units.
Yeah,
I think that's a harsh decision, but they needed to do it for the Space Marines. They just needed to do it because they were getting so unwieldy.
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, the sheer amount of stuff that went into Legends from the Space Marines, it was like 3 pages. It was insane.
Absolutely absurd. And it's not like you can't use them.
No, they're in Legends. So
they're in Legends.
Still usable.
And also, if that doesn't suit it, you can just use one of the data sheets from in here and just use those models. It's fine.
Hey, absolutely. It's always good fun just to... I haven't seen that model in years. What are you playing it as? It's a Storm Talon gunship.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why not? Brilliant. Why not? But it does make me very excited. I mean, like, as I say, I cannot wait to see Chaos Space Marines that were coming soon, Necrons, just very, very excited to see what they do. The Knights and the Chaos Knights.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Knights. Because that's going to be an interesting one.
That's good. I mean, like, the stuff they can do for Crusade with them, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's
They're knightly orders, so I mean, it's obvious what they're going to do with them, right? They are going to have actual like holy quests. Crusades.
Yeah, proper quests.
Yeah, quests, exactly that.
Grail hunting, only the Grail's like the skull of an Orc warlord. That's...
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. That is.
I think for myself, I'm really looking forward to how the Gene Stealer cults come out of this. Really looking forward to seeing how the Orcs come out of this. Of course, my beloved Votan, but yeah, we all knew that. But I'm wondering what else we're going to get, because
there's going to be new stuff. There's no doubt. I mean, like, because they're releasing 2 codices like at a time as well, it seems. That means that they're going to finish quite quickly for this edition.
Yeah.
With the established armies, they're going to finish relatively quickly. And I mean, obviously, people are saying the end of 10th, or like whenever it'll be the Emperor's Children. Because I mean, to be fair, that's probably a good shout this time, for the simple reason there isn't much else out there to release.
No, there isn't. But I think a lot of what we're going to get to see is hopefully a refocusing of some of the armies. As for the Orcs, they desperately need a refocus.
And again, I don't think they're on the.
No, they're not.
Not yet. So they're ways off. They're like ways off.
So it makes perfect sense to. You've got the Tyranids who've just had their refresh, get them out. Next to the Space Marines, obviously, because they're the beginnings. Necrons, they're fairly recent, get them out.
Full miniatures range as well, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, we've already seen what one of their new miniatures is going to be, which is, of course, the new Necron Lord, who I love.
Yep, he's really cool. Really cool.
Very nice indeed.
What was after the Necrons?
Chaos Space Marines, I think.
Let's just have a quick look.
No, it's Adeptus Mechanicus.
That's right. Yes, because that the rivalry between the two.
That's right. They're the 2 codices that are coming out together, aren't they?
Yeah.
So.
And that's the way they want to try and do it so you've got rivalries happening. Here we go. Right. So then we've got Codex Dark Angels, Codex Orcs.
Oh, is that right? Dark Angels. After that. Oh, I love the Dark Angels. They're my favourite Space Marine chapter. So yeah, I'm into that.
Then you got Codex Adeptus Custodes and Tau, and then Chaos Marines after that.
Right, so they're quite a ways off. That's interesting, because that seems to suggest to me that the Chaos Space Marines are probably going to get a fair few bits and pieces.
Well, I wonder if this is going to be where we're going to get the new, bigger Chaos Marines.
Yes,
that have been rumoured. The Swollen Marines, or whatever they're going to be called.
That's quite possible. I mean, I imagine one of the things they're going to do as well is maybe update the demon engines a bit.
Yeah.
Because they look a bit... I mean, to be honest, I've never liked the way the demon engines look in 40k anyway. They've always been a bit shit. I hope that they make them a bit more demonic. I want them to look a bit fleshier myself.
Oh, no, this is interesting. So at Warhammer Fest 2023, when they were going through all this, they showed a picture of all the data cards, which are Space Marines and Tyranids first, then Chaos Marines, Blood Angels, Black Templars, Astra Militarum, Imperial Agents, Eldari, Adeptus Custodes, Chaos Demons, Dark Angels, Death Guard, Death Watch, Drakari.
Right, so Chaos Space Marines are quite soon.
Possibly, Adeptus Ariatus, Orcs, Necrons, Night Households, Grey Knights, Gene Stealer Cults, Tau, Thousand Suns, Admech, Voton, Space Wolves, and World Eaters.
Yeah, well, the World Eaters make sense to be last, because they were the last codex for 9th.
Yeah.
And in fact, their 9th ed codex is effectively a 10th ed codex.
That doesn't fit with the roadmap I've got in front of me, but that's how they showed the data card releases in Warhammer Fest 2023.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, we know the Necrons are coming next, right? And the Adeptus Mechanicus, because they've already told us that. They've already showed us that. I wonder what the Adeptus Mechanicus are going to. Oh, they've got the big stilt guy, haven't they?
They do, yes.
The big stilt sniper. I love him.
Oh god, he's great.
I love him. He divided the crowd completely. I think he's great.
Same. He's so silly.
Love it.
Perfection.
And
silliness.
I love the fact that there's a reason for it. It's to stalk over like irradiated rad wastes, yeah? Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think that's great.
I've got no issues, no notes required. I will not be taking questions.
No, I'm up for silliness in 40k. I've got to say I'm up for the silliness.
I do like the idea of having these paired off codexes, Tyranids versus Space Marines, Admech versus Necrons, Dark Angels versus Orcs.
It's dynamic, isn't it? It's narrative. It's really interesting. I mean, hopefully it'll be Thousand Suns and Space Wolves this time.
Yeah, that would work. That would
That'd
work
be nice
really
because it has
nicely.
been what they've done recently. What they've done is it's Grey Knights and Space Wolves and Thousand
Thousand
Suns because
Suns.
it's
Yeah,
the two psychic armies,
yeah,
which makes sense. I get that. I totally get that. But I've always felt Grey Knights and Demons would be way better because that's what they're
yeah.
for, isn't it? That's what they're supposed to be fighting.
Very true. Yeah, aye. The Thousand Suns are a bit beneath their pay grade.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, or
weirdly
above
enough.
if you think like Magnus and whatnot. It's like, yeah,
Very true. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Magnus is above everyone's pay grade in 10th.
he's a monster, isn't
He
he?
is the single most powerful miniature in the game
Hmm.
by a country mile. He is a holocaust. He's absolutely brilliant. And not unbalanced either. That's the interesting thing. He just works the way he's supposed to work.
Yeah, there was somebody did like a Gears of War style waves game with him. I saw on
Hmm.
YouTube to see how many waves he would survive, and they were just throwing like
Yep.
3 units from different armies at him at each time, and just watching as his wounds clocked down.
Yeah.
And he lasted like I think he got to wave 22.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah,
He would. I've seen him with his Gaze of Magnus take down like Carnifexes in turn 1.
yeah,
It's ridiculous. I saw him fighting Magnus, not Magnus, Angron,
yeah.
not too long ago. Turn 1, Gaze of Magnus killed him.
Jeez.
It's like, what?
Okay, that's mental.
Yeah, it is absolutely. I mean, of course, Angron came back and then killed him.
Yeah.
So that's the way it's balanced out, right? I mean, Angron is an absolute ridiculous miniature. He's great. He is so powerful. It's unbelievable. You can take him down,
Hmm.
but he's coming back. That's the thing.
He's coming back, and he's angrier than ever.
That resurrection ability, I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, it's insane, but it also slows him down, and I think that's the way to look at it. Is
That's it. You take him
if
off
you
the table for a bit, yeah.
yeah, then when he comes back, he's going to keep moving, but hopefully you've kept him off the table for a
Yeah,
turn.
hopefully by that point you've got like objectives settled and whatnot, so you're still going to win because obviously, like you can effectively massacre a lot of the enemy army, but if they're on the objectives, they're the ones that are going to win.
Hmm.
That's what's so brilliant. I mean, like anything that affects objectives secured in 10th ed is amazing. So effectively anything that affects morale, And that's another thing I love about these codices, by the way, and the new rules. Morale means something now.
It does
It hasn't meant anything since second ed.
nothing,
When it was
absolutely nothing.
so, and the sad thing is, you've had entire armies that have been based around affecting morale, and they've always been shit. It's just like, oh, you affect leadership, do you? Who gives a shit? Now, it really means something because it determines whether you can hold objectives and therefore win the game.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more strategy, doesn't it, rather than having to see who can whittle down the other ones
Absolutely. And the fact that you
fastest.
don't have any fearless units anymore. There are
Yes.
no units that are not affected by morale, and that includes Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines and World Eaters and whatnot. They all have this. Everything is affected by leadership, morale, which is brilliant. And by the way, the Tyranids, that Shadow in the Warp ability,
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
army-wide special rule that all Tyranid armies get,
Yeah.
bloody hell.
Isn't it insane?
It's really good. I've seen them like being on the hot foot where the enemy has secured so many objectives that it looks like they're done. It looks like they're never going to recover from it. Then they've played the Shadow in the Warp, forced every single one of them to take a leadership test, and they've lost. They
Hmm.
failed, and suddenly they're not camping on the objectives anymore. They can't hold them anymore.
The Tyranids just take it all back.
It's amazing, and the
Yeah.
Shadow in the Warp has never been this characterful or good.
No, it's always been like an also ran rule.
Yeah, it's always been a bit wishy-washy, hasn't it, compared to how it's described in the background. This is awesome, and it's a great ability.
But it ties back to what I was saying before. There is a real sense of trying to get things on the table to play like they do in the fiction. Yeah.
It's the other thing. I mean, the Space Marines have got their special rule, the Oath of Moment, as well, which in the Index was a bit overpowered. Let's be honest, it was a little bit overpowered, because what you did was every turn you selected an enemy unit, and for that turn, every unit in your army could re-roll hit rolls and wound rolls against them. So it was licensed to just delete that unit, delete that unit. What they've done is taken away the re-roll wound, so it's just re-roll hit now.
Yeah,
it's still bloody brilliant.
yeah,
It's really good. It's very powerful, but it's not ridiculously powerful. It's not like you may as well just take that unit off. We're not even going to roll. We'll just take that unit off the board. It's not that anymore. You have a chance to stand against it. But it's really good. It's really, it's really characterful.
It is. And there's a lot of work being done here, which I think is really impressive to make these things play. There's a real sense that they've heard things that people have said over the last few years and just gone, right, this is stuff that people haven't enjoyed.
Yep.
And that's saying that with 10th, with 9th, sorry. Where 9th did have a lot of stuff that people liked because there was a lot of
9th
good
was
stuff.
great. 9th was the best edition of the game during 9th.
Yes.
But it had a lot, towards the end of the game, it accrued a lot of problems and it was quite unbalanced, and it just did what 40k does,
Yeah. By the time you got to the halfway point of 9th, you were taking way too many books to the table.
And also, you had stuff like Drakari dropping and changing the meta. You had Tyranids dropping and changing the meta. You had Gene Stealers dropping and changing the meta. Eldari dropping and changing the meta, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It looks like they've done away with that, though they've taken steps to try and mitigate that as much as possible.
Yeah, which I can only say is a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a brilliant thing. I'm so into that. It's like, yes, please, 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 please give us all of that. It just makes the game more fun to engage with.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think as long as you can hit both heads of the Hydra with 40k, where you're getting the casual narrative players and the tournament players and making something that works for both, I think you're winning.
You are doing the best that you can there, aren't you? And that's what I'm getting from these books. They are refined, they're simplified compared to what's gone before, but the character is still there, the fun is still there.
Mm-hmm. Which is what you want. It's what you need.
Yeah, it's absolutely what you want. And it doesn't bother me in the least that, now all of your captains are kind of the same.
No.
They do the same thing. That doesn't bother me in the least, because the character comes from what you do with them. It comes from the narrative. It comes from your modeling and your painting and whatnot. The fact that you've got your standard data sheet for your captain is fine, because it means you're not mucking about. It's the same with your Thousand Sons Exalted Sorcerers. They're all the same. Good. Excellent. It means we're not mucking about with multiple cards and catalogs and pages and whatnot. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And I think that's what we can take away from this, is that there's a real sense that, well, as they kept saying, wasn't it? It was simplified but not simple.
That's it. That seems to be the watchword, doesn't it? That's the tenet for this edition. And I'm so into it. I'm just so into it. I think they've just done a great job with it. They could have gone too far, and they haven't. They haven't. They could have done the 4th Ed Chaos Space Marine Codex, where they did exactly that. Went way too far, stripped the army of everything that made it fun, and just created this really bland book. They haven't done that. Everything feels fun. Everything has and the way they've done it is by giving everything its own tiny little bespoke special rule. That's all. It just makes them interesting and fun, You look through, you've got your assault intercessors. They've got their Hammer of Wrath special rule. Then you've got the other assault intercessor squad that has targeted intercession. It differentiates them. It makes them interesting.
Well, it goes out of its way to make, as we said before, it makes the army yours. You can do whatever you want with your army in order to make the army you want.
Yep.
And the last time you were able to do that to this extent was
Second Ed.
Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It really was. It feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like being able to breathe again.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a real sense of just absolute joy and hopefulness that I've got for this edition.
It's that whole thing of going like, when you discover the game for the first time and you just go into a Games Workshop store. Oh, I like the look of that. Oh, I like the look of that. Oh, I like the look of that. And you can do it.
Yeah.
You can play with that army. It's great.
Oh man, if I could get that feeling of going back into a Games Workshop store for the first time, I would be beyond myself with joy.
Oh God, I remember because I went to the opening of the Derby store.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Yep.
There were people lined throughout Derby. It was like a rock star was in Derby or something. It was crazy.
I went to
I got my lead Eldar War Walker.
Oh man,
I loved it.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember which one it was first. I went to the York opening store,
and
I went to the Newcastle opening.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one was first. And I remember from one I got, I used my little vouchers that I could at a White Dwarf.
Yeah, I remember doing it. I remember doing that.
The 25% off and the 10% off.
Yeah.
I got my Skaven box sets, and I got 3 blister packs. If you remember, because it was 3. You got 3 blister packs for the price of 2.
Jeez, wow. Yes, I remember.
They were good days.
That was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I remember because my brother, when I got my Elder Warwalker, he got the lead Carnifex, the Screamer Killer.
Oh.
Yeah, he got the Screamer Killer, and it fell apart every time we put it together.
Yep, because it was a terrible kit.
Yeah, every single time. You just could not get those scythe arms to stay on.
Well, what you had to do was get some modelling putty, put a little bit in, super glue it, put the putty in, then super glue on the end, and then put the arm in. And then that's how you got it to stick in.
It wasn't going to happen.
That's the only way I ever got it to work.
I tell you what, I had a sizable Elder force in second ed.
Yeah.
I really did. It was really impressive. It had Eldred Ulthron, it had Harlequins, it had Striking Scorpions and Fire Dragons and Fugan the Burning Lance. It had Morgan Ra, it had an Avatar, it had Dark Reapers. It was a really good army, that was.
And do you know where it went?
I have no idea. I have not the first bloody clue. I could not tell you.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I was trying to remember where a lot of my original stuff went, because it's just gone, so
yeah,
it'll be
no idea.
given to somebody or something. But then I remembered I had a Game Gear. And I have absolutely no idea where my Game Gear went.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm really annoyed. So I think, obviously, I haven't thought about it in like 20 years.
Yeah.
But it's like, where the hell did my Game Gear go?
Where did my Game Gear go? Yeah. I often think about that. Like my old consoles. Some of them I know because I've got my Commodore Amiga still, and it still bloody works. It's amazing. It's an amazing computer, that is. But my Super Nintendo, my Mega Drive, I have no idea where they are.
No, I couldn't tell you where any of those things went, and it's a sad thought, isn't it?
It kind of is. It kind of is. I mean, I can't believe my Amiga 600 still works.
Bloody hell!
But it does.
How?
Yeah, I know, right? You hook it up to a television because you can't get monitors for it anymore, but it still works.
That's actually quite impressive.
Isn't it great? I imagine it's because it's compared to computers these days, it's just so simple, isn't it?
That's very true, actually. Yeah, but you'd have thought like the diodes and stuff would have started.
You'd have thought so. But no. And it still smells the same. It still produces that really ozony smell that computers of that era used to produce. It still makes that noise. If a computer made that noise these days, you'd think it was broken. You'd take it back.
That's kids these days don't know they're alive. They don't get computers that go.
I used to love it. I used to love the noises it made when it was loading up. Because it made different like tones of noise and rhythms depending on the game it was loading up. And you just got used to the loading tones of the games.
Oh man, that's some good memory there. Thank you.
I loved my Amiga. It was my first computer. It was my introduction to what video games were and computers were. So of course I love it. But it was amazing. I remember like being fascinated by it because it was mystical. Yeah. I'd never seen anything like it before. I'd never seen a computer before. So it was a mystical thing. It was like it was just bizarre.
Magical. I remember we had a Commodore 64 on Charger, and we had Moonlander and those types of games, and it really did feel like just something out of this world at that point, didn't it?
Absolutely. It felt like you were accessing some strange other world or other dimension. It was I spent hours on the damn thing, probably longer than I should, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can say that about every console we've ever owned.
Longer than was healthy, that was for damn sure.
Got a sad story to tell here, which is my Xbox One has died.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And it's the end of an era because I don't think I'm going to replace it.
Oh, wow.
I think I've reached the point in my life where I've just gone, you know what? Nah.
Is that it now?
Yeah, I just can't be bothered. I'm sad because it means I've lost a lot of the stuff that I've picked up over the years with Microsoft, the Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, going right back to the original Xbox in some cases.
Yeah, God.
Which I completely rehacked and turned into a media streaming device for the rest of the house. But it's a sad state, but unfortunately I think that's going to be it. I don't see me getting another console now.
Oh, it's a shame. I mean, I do love my video games. I don't think I could be without them at the moment, to be honest. I love them.
It's weird. The older I've got, the less I like playing old video games, but I struggle with new ones.
I'm pickier these days, that's for sure. I am pickier these days, and that's just that happens with age, doesn't it? You know, you learn what's good and what works and whatnot. But no, I mean, there's just such amazing stuff happening in the arenas I like.
Yeah.
I'm playing. You heard of Scorn?
I have heard of Scorn. Yeah.
God Almighty, that's amazing. That's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. It's like a world designed by Beksinski and Geiger.
Oh, jeez.
It's unbelievable.
Is it a spiritual signal to I have no name?
It's got the same nihilism about it, that's for damn sure. It's so grim. It's so grim, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. Never really encountered anything like it.
I'll have to... I'll have to look. I'll have a look at a Let's Play on YouTube.
Honestly, look it up because it's aesthetically alone, it is incredible. It's not for everyone. A lot of people are not going to like it because it's oblique and it's quiet. It's really quiet. It's very slow and atmospheric, but I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Okay. Oh well, I'm looking at some pictures now and just going, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, right. It's a nasty game.
Yeah, that's up my alleyway. Out of interest, have you heard of Necropolis 28?
No, I don't think I have.
Necropolis 28 is somebody taking that entire Inquisitor 28 idea, and then, much like Turnip 28 did by turning it into like weird root vegetable Napoleon apocalypse, they've made it into like a Bloodborne or more of a Dark Souls, where it's a world where there is nothing left alive. Everything is dead.
Yeah.
And
I like that. I must admit, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of
that. It does me just nicely.
That sort of grim, dark nihilism in fantasy mythologies. I mean, I think it's inspired. I mean, the original Dark Souls, it does it so beautifully. Where it's like a fantasy story or mythology where it's ended and everything's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you're dropped in after the end, not like at the end. No. After the end.
Yeah. All the people have had their happily ever after, and this is what happens next.
Yeah, what a brilliant conceit, what an amazing concept, and it works so well.
Yeah, I've got a thing where people play with fantasy, because we had 30, 40, 50 years of people just redoing Tolkien.
Tolkien, largely.
Yeah, again and again and again and again, yeah.
With your odd, moments of absolute brilliance. You had people like Ursula K. Le Guin popping up to create, Earthsea and whatnot. Amazing stuff. But yeah, it was rare.
Yeah, no, it was. So one of the things I've really liked about, since maybe about 2014 or so, is that fantasy has taken on a real sense of fantastic. What can we do that is fantastic? Yeah. And that's not in the sense... Yeah. I don't mean fantastic in the sense of, oh, wow. I mean fantastic is in completely not of this world.
Not of this world, yeah. Surreal, strange, bizarre,
And there's a couple of them that I've seen over the last couple of years, which has just been, woof. Yeah, that's the stuff I want to see.
Well, it's happening in literature too. I mean, like
Yeah,
fantasy literature has expanded in just I mean, genre fiction in general. It's exploded
yeah,
in recent years, and it's largely because the gatekeepers are dying off. That's the truth of the matter. The
yeah.
gatekeepers are dying off, and the market is changing. So the demographics that were excluded traditionally are now sweeping in, and they are expanding the definitions and parameters of what it means.
hmm I like any world where China Maville becomes a bench level rather than the outlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
because right now there's a lot of stuff coming out where it feels like people have read Perdido Street Station and gone, oh, you can do this with fantasy.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's the thing. It's that realization that you can do.
Yeah,
That there's not a parameter. You can do what you like. It's your imagination. You do what you like.
absolutely, and yeah, that's perfect for me because anything that gets away from fetch quests is
Mm.
makes you very, very happy.
Oh
So,
God, yeah.
so with all that being said, I think we'll start drawing this to a close
Yeah,
because
sure.
we're actually 2 hours in. I've just
It's
seen,
getting
which
on, isn't it? Yeah, it's getting on.
surprisingly so. I didn't realize that 2 hours had passed.
Yeah.
So, George, where can people find you if they so wish to hunt you down with a giant rusty spear, remove your soul from your body, and make it to be reborn in a nihilistic world of your own invention?
It'd take more than a rusty spear for that, for me. You'd have to find the soul first. It's not residing in my body, so Um, They can find me. They can find me at on YouTube at Exaggerated Elegy, where there are video game let's plays, podcasts on horror fiction and media and all sorts of stuff. You can find me at Our Lives in Horror on YouTube as well, where I interview creators from the independent and small press horror scene. If you go over to Arrow Films these days, you can find a new Hellraiser Blu-ray, The Quartet of Torment, and my colleague Kit Power and I are on that DVD. We're actually on the Hellbound disc on a featurette called Hell is What They Wanted. You can find links to all of my published work over at strangeplaygrounds.com, or if you go to the Evil Empire of Amazon and type in George Daniel Lee, you'll find all of my short story collections. I'm still on Twitter for the time being. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long the platform lasts, won't we?
Yeah,
Um,
I think I've reached the point now where I've decided I'm probably going to leave it by the end of the year.
Yeah, at the moment it's a dumpster fire. It's just an absolute dumpster fire. Thank you, Elon. Um,
I'm just finding it really hard to get any conversation going.
Yeah, well, it's all out of whack, isn't it? Nobody's
Yeah.
seeing anyone. It's all falling apart. It's just it's the billionaire effect, isn't it? It's the spoiled brat man baby billionaire effect.
And as of this moment, Sony, Microsoft, and Blizzard, who have all taken themselves off Twitter.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! I mean, to be that toxic, right?
Yeah.
Wow. But you can also find me at Blue Sky at Exaggerated Elegy as well, which is a much nicer space, by the way.
I like Blue Sky and I like Threads. Both of them are
both much
really
nicer
nice
spaces.
Yeah.
Much nicer spaces. But yeah, that's me.
Excellent sauce. Excellent sauce? That's not a saying.
I think that's a product, isn't it?
Adam's excellent sauce.
It should be, shouldn't it?
Brought to you by Immortal Adam and his Bram Stokery ways.
Yeah.
Is it sauce? Is it not? You'll never know until you buy it. What does it taste like? Who knows?
It should have that image of Bram Stoker on the front.
Bram Stoker's mysterious sauce.
Yeah, you're not going to buy that, are you?
I would, absolutely. I'm fucking right, I would. Dad. As for myself, you can find me on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Instagram, on TwitX, on Facebook, under the Fluffenhammer, and you can find my personal stuff under adnickel.weebly.com, where I have all of my art, all of my short stories, all of my audiobooks. They're all there for free. Go and have them. Go on and have them. Go on. And if you're like, give us some money, then that'd be good. Give me some money, please.
That's the second podcast I've done where, like, my co-host has done that.
Is it?
I've tried to coerce the audience to give him the money.
Go on, I'm lovely.
Actually, you're being a bit nicer about it than Jack was. Jack was like being aggressive about it.
Maybe that's what I need to start doing. Start aggressively saying, "You fucking join my Patreon."
He was trying to shame the audience into giving him money.
What, like, I'm withering away here.
Yeah. It's a good tactic, actually.
It won't let me stop.
Oh.
Stop.
Stop recording. Craig, stop recording.
Craig! What are you doing, Craig? Stop. What's happening? Freaking stop.
That's weird.
I'm literally just smacking